Welcome to Super Deals. We are live and everything. I'm going to just be talking and catching up on the clothes here and everything. Got to go through and make sure there's no tears in them, make sure there's no stains and all that fun stuff. I don't get real picky about it because we sell most of the clothes for $1 to $2. Some of the jeans will sell for $5. But other than that, most of it's $1, so I don't get too picky on it. But if I see something that's messed up, I'm going to obviously throw it out. Or if I think the stain will come out or something, I'll just throw it in the fill-a bag or something. But pretty much I'm just going to be hanging close today and talking. So if anyone's got a conversation they want to start about something, that's cool and everything. So we got all kinds of things going on in the store and everything. I've been putting out movies and games and all kinds of stuff, trying to clean up around here and everything. It's just there's so much to do, and with this cold, I can't really do much work outside, and I don't really turn the heat on in this building because it just gets so expensive to run the heat in here. And when it's that cold, there's no one out anyway, and I think tomorrow we'll have one more day where it's decent out. And then the next 2 days after that, it's going to be real cold, but everyone up north is going to say, well, you're in Oklahoma, that ain't that bad. Just wait till you see what's up here in Canada and down here by the border and everything. Yeah, I know. I grew up in Michigan and South Dakota, so I know how cold it can get. We used to have snow because we were in the UP, the Upper Peninsula, and we'd have snow that would drift all the way up a 2-story house and everything, and they would dig it out and make little tunnels and all kinds of stuff. My dad made a tunnel where we literally went out of our house. You can either go walk down the steps or down the way where it's just shoveled out and there's just snow all the way beside you, like this tall. I mean, it went up to my head. I was like probably 5 or 6 though. And so he dug some of that out and he put like a piece of, I want to say it was plexiglass, that real thick plexiglass he had on top of it, so the snow wouldn't cover us up and everything. We could go hide in there and everything. And that was pretty cool in South Dakota. But now that I'm older, I don't want to go play in the snow anymore. I remember being in South Dakota, and I had an old 1984 318i BMW. Yeah, that was the worst thing to take out in that snow because I made it out of the driveway. I made it to the end of the residential area and everything to get on the main road, and I got stuck, so I spent 2 hours just trying to get that thing undug and get it back into the driveway. So yeah, I don't like snow. I got some friends that live up in Canada. I got friends that live up in Michigan. I got family up in Michigan, and I've thought about moving back there, but every time I think about the snow that makes me say no and everything else. So yeah, same with South Dakota, but I don't really care to go back to South Dakota. I don't have too many friends out that way. Most of my friends are out more towards the coast and everything. So I just take it day by day. And, I don't think I could buy a building as cheap as I bought this one because both our buildings are paid off. That's the only thing that's our saving grace because you don't make a lot of money in a small town. You just do the best you can. But back in the day, you could buy buildings real cheap. You can't even buy buildings real cheap anymore. Most of the buildings downtown were all empty, and they were selling for $25,000 to $50,000 and everything, and everyone bought them up. Then when COVID hit and all these things went up in value, everyone sold them off. There's a building down here downtown that I know a company bought that building for $50,000, and they turned around and sold it. Now, granted, they bought it, I want to say 15 years ago, and they held it for 15 years, and they turned around and sold that building for $400,000 to OSU. And there's a couple more like that. So, I mean, there's options there, but a lot of people don't have the money for it. Like, if I sold my building, I would sell it if someone actually had the money. But, we got 6 apartments upstairs. We got the 2 storefronts because there actually was another wall in here at one time. And this was 2 different fronts. And the back was closed off and everything. We've done all that work. And I've had tenants that have had water damage, and I need to redo my ceiling and stuff and everything. So, yeah, I'm not into the tenant thing too much anymore like I used to be because everyone's like, oh, you got this and that and everything else, and they're like, oh, these people don't take care of it. No, they get tired of redoing it. There are scumlords, so don't get me wrong, because I remember when I first moved here, I was looking for a house, and this one landlord and everything, which I actually ended up suing later on and got my money for something else because I actually rented a house from him later on. But I remember he had houses available, and he said, oh, yeah, the doors are unlocked. And then me coming from where I come from, I'm like, you don't leave anything unlocked. Now, granted, in Michigan, my grandmother used to always leave the door unlocked at one time, but now, after years went by, she quit doing that even, and that's pretty sad when you're in a town like that and you stop leaving the doors unlocked because you're scared of people. But so I forgot where I was going with. That's the problem with having ADHD. You forget where you're going with stuff. But so he had this house for $250 a month, which it's a 2-bedroom, so it sounds good and everything. We went and looked at it. The floors were peeling up on the side, and you could see the ground through the floors. There was dog poo throughout the house. I mean, it looked like the carpet had been just saturated with poo and, yeah, stuff like that and everything else. It was so nasty. And there was no floor in the back when you walked over the back to get out of the house and everything. I'm surprised I actually went in to look because it was that nasty and everything. But later on, I got a house that I rented from him when I went through my divorce. Well, that one's going in nasty. Got divorced, so I went and rented a house, and I never moved into it. Someone else moved into it. And the dang thing caught fire right after they moved into it. And so the city said, oh, you got to move. Because I got the contract, but then I decided I didn't want it. So it was in my name still. And so I actually filed suit. And so he decided he was going to turn around and sue me because I didn't pay him rent. Well, that doesn't work that way. So, but then the day of court, he come back to me and he's like, what do we do to resolve this? I said, pay me my money. And he decided that I wasn't going to back down because he thought he was going to intimidate me because he owns 100 houses around here. Ironically, he was drunk driving one night and got hit by a drunk driver, which I thought was ironic because I thought he'd be the drunk driver to kill someone because he'd go out partying all the time and everything else. And everything, and he'd come flying back. He's a womanizer and all that kind of stuff and everything. And so he got hit by a drunk driver and got killed, and he was like 80-something. But the guy had his mansion in Arkansas and all kinds of stuff and everything. So, I mean, he had it together, but people would tell you all kinds of stories about him. But, yeah, so he decided he was going to pay me instead of going to court because he knew he didn't have a chance. So, yeah, you got to watch out for them scumlords and everything, too. But a lot of us, we're just trying to make it and everything. It's so expensive. People don't realize, yeah, there's a lot of people that are making a lot of money off the houses, but everything. But, like, you got to pay your insurance. You got to pay this. You got to pay that. And like with my apartments, we don't have meters on them. So I also have to pay the electric and all that stuff too, the water and all that. So when you pay me, that's got to come out of that. So I'm really not making that much and everything, especially in a small town. I've got studio apartments. And if I redo them, I can get $700 a month for them. The problem is everyone will stay for like 2-3 months, trash it. Then I got to redo it. And then I've also lost the stove or whatever in there. They broke my stuff comes up missing all the time, and everything. So then you got to go buy all that stuff too. So that really sucks, and everything else. So there's a lot of cost to it. Sometimes you can get a good renter in there that stays for a while and everything, which we've had some and everything. And around here, we've done payment plans where, they can pay a quarter of it each week or half of it a month or something. We work that out and everything so they can pay that. And that helps a lot of people out. And over the years, I've only had to evict one person. And that one person was working for me. And they stole all my tools. They stole so much stuff in the store and everything else. But then had a problem with me. Well, yeah, that didn't work out so well. So eventually I took their keys from the store after I put cameras around and started catching on and everything. And so now we have cameras everywhere watching everything. And, they tried to lock me out of my own building, lock me out of the apartment. They locked me out of this, locked me out of that. Things came up missing, everything else. I finally filed eviction and everything. It took like a week and a half, got them out and everything. First eviction I ever had to file and everything. But, it just goes to show, some people are ungrateful and don't appreciate what you do for them. So, anyone got anything they want to say about that? Anything? Because I'm looking to start a conversation with anyone if you want to and everything. But, yeah, it's hard out there because rent has just gone through the roof anymore. I mean, when we moved here 21 years ago, 22 years ago, like I said, 2-bedroom house was going for an average of $300 a month. Now, for a 2-bedroom house, the average is $750 to $1,000 a month. And that's crazy. And they're not that nice of houses. They're not. But some of them, when they do redo them, they want like $1,200 a month. And the people around here, they're not making that kind of money. So they can't afford it and everything. But, it's just, Everything's going up all over. But then you got to take and repair all this stuff and spend all this money. And if they only stay for a month or two, and you just spent $5,000 on that apartment, and they trash it and everything, and you got to spend another $3,000 to redo it, you just lost your butt. And I've done that before a few times. I had a guy, he was paying up real good and everything. I knew his grandmother and everything. But they say family and friends are the worst ones to rent to. Well, he wasn't my friend, but he got me. But he got the apartment at $700 a month and all bills paid and everything. This is about 10 years ago, which isn't bad with all your utilities and everything back then. Because even 10 years ago, it was starting to rise around here and everything. And because like this building here is 8,000 square foot. I know y'all are going to be like, wow, you only paid $24,000 for that building? Yes, I did. But I have thousands and thousands of dollars into redoing this building and everything else, and I still have work to do. I've got a lot of patchwork and stuff like that to do, but it gets harder and harder to do that stuff as I get older. Like right now, my body is hating this cold. I am having a heck of a time just trying to get up and go with it. It's just so hard. That's like I used to have across, well, actually up here from this door right here all the way down, that's probably 30, 40 feet right there. Let's see, 10, 20. Yeah, that's about 40 feet right there. And it was comic books all the way down. Well, I got too many comic books after a while, so we did the same thing across that back wall right there, which is about 40 feet. But then we had triple rows of them, comic books going up there. And then we had 50,000 records going through here. And then over here we had all our Walmart returns and all that kind of cool stuff. Whoops, it wasn't dirty, now it is. And everything. So we had all kinds of cool stuff. So my thing is, I'm hoping y'all will watch us grow with us and watch us find that and get that back again and everything to build up to that great empire we had at one time. It's going to take a minute because I don't have the money I had to do it, but I know where to get the stuff and I still know how to do it just a little bit at a time. It's just going to take me a little work. But when I built this building, I built up from nothing to something. The problem is it's getting harder and harder to get the stuff because everyone wants to sell everything anymore. Everyone wants that deal. The problem is everyone wants to nitpick everything. Me, I try to get rid of everything. I try not to let anything go in the dumpster unless I have to and everything. But we try to keep it cheap. Like these jeans right here, they are polo and everything. Most I'm going to sell jeans for is $5. They have to be real special to get 10 out of it. But we try to keep it cheap and everything. These polos probably get $3 out of. I mean, I'm not too worried about it if I get 2. You know, we just try to keep it cheap because people need the stuff and everything. I'm not trying to make a fortune. I'm not trying to, do all that. I've made my money and I don't have any left and everything. It's just, to me, it's just not that big of a deal and everything. I do want to have enough money to survive each day. That would be nice to have money and not sit there and go, I'm broke, I'm broke, I'm broke. But it is what it is. The economy is just not there. I mean, my wife went and bought a thing of eggs the other day, 60 eggs for $27. And you put tax on that. I think we ought to pay 5% tax now, but that's almost $30. What's wrong, Rick? That's almost $30 for eggs, 60 piece and everything. So it's crazy out there and everything, you know. So looks like everyone ran away. I'm boring everyone, but yeah. So we got all that kind of stuff going on and everything. I know no one wants to see me doing clothes and everything, but it's just got to get certain things done and everything. I got so many projects I don't know what to do with. Coleman's Burgers, that's right around the corner and everything. They got some great burgers if you like burgers. I heard at Sonic when they bought their land out back in the day, they had to close up for a certain amount of years. And then after they were closed up, that certain amount of years they could reopen. So they reopened right around the corner for me, which is kind of cool because back in the day, back when I used to go out and eat lunch most of the time, I just walk over there, get me a burger while I had people working and everything, get the burger, get the fries and everything, and I'd go down to Kirby's and everything. So, yeah, I made that one dirty. It was clean, now it's dirty. That's the problem with white. It don't work and everything. So, but yeah, there's a lot of nothing great in these clothes. It's cool jeans, but I don't know about the rest of this stuff and everything. But I'm not really a clothes person myself either. So, yeah, that's probably why y'all get bored watching me do clothes. You'd be like, I'd rather see toys coming out, or I'd rather see glassware or anything. So would I. So would I. But once I get this caught up, then we won't have to worry about that. So, I know y'all sitting there going, dang, he is boring. But yeah, we sell stuff like that for $1. It's amazing the price that Goodwill sells. Other thrift stores will say. I'm trying not to use names of places because I don't want any backlash from anyone and everything. Because, there's so many things going on out there in the thrift industry. There's a lot of people out there mad at us resellers for actually buying stuff and reselling it and everything. But I can tell you a little story about a lot of these thrift stores. Now, small town thrift stores, they actually help the community more. Salvation Army's a good one, and everything. They got the programs and everything. There's some other ones and stuff like that. But there's a lot of these companies that have the thrift stores and everything, and they get all this stuff, like all these clothes and everything, which they'll bundle up the clothes that don't sell, and they'll ship them over to another country. But nowadays, they're getting to the point where they're selling them online, these bundles. You can buy a bundle for, I want to say, like $350. But if you know how many pounds and how many clothes are in that for $350, that's a lot. The problem is it's also going to cost you probably another $300 to ship it to you. So if you can get stuff, the best thing you can do is go pick it up. But the price of gas is killing that too. So it's hard to say. Like, we used to go buy pallets. I used to go down to Tennessee and get pallets and everything. And we'd take the trailer down. We'd fill it up. We'd come back and we'd make a killing. The problem is everyone has gotten into that now. So all the good pallets that you're looking for, because I can tell you what your pallets go for, but you got to get the right price on the electronics pallets, because that's where the money's at, the electronics pallets. The problem is you got to watch for not getting pallets that have already been dug through and they took everything out and all you got is a bunch of broken electronics, because I've had that happen before too. But so you got to watch who you get your returns from, because if you get them from companies that get them and they buy them and they take out all the good stuff and then they just throw stuff they don't want to you, you're getting screwed. The problem is the only way to get untouched stuff, the best way to know is to buy semi-loads or know your vendor and everything. And so it's just really hard to know where to go get it, because there's so many scams out there nowadays. I mean, I don't trust anyone that's on the internet unless I actually talk to that person, maybe see their warehouse in person, not, I got pictures of all my warehouse and everything. And then, but you look on the internet and everyone's got those pictures of their warehouse. So they're just stock photos. They're not actual photos of that place. So you got to be careful of that. There's a lot of good vendors up in Indiana and Ohio, because a lot of that stuff comes from out there. A lot of the other stuff comes from out of Arkansas and Texas and everything. There's some good stuff there. There's some good places up in Missouri. I mean, there's a lot of good places, but if you want to get online and have it delivered to you, go to the place first, check it out, make sure it's real. Because if you don't, you're going to lose. Because, I mean, there's a good chance that you could wire them $20,000, you'll never get a load, and you'll never see your stuff and everything. So that's not really cool. And it's happened to some people and everything. Me and my wife were subject to a scam, but it's a different kind of scam with our retirement. So, I mean, and this person we knew for years, 21 years, So, I mean, it's not okay. And I'm just going to leave it at that, because I can't say too much about it. So we are just trying to strive through it right now. That's why I don't have the money right now to do the things I need to do because of that. But I'm going to build up. I'm going to get it going. I'm not going to let it kick me down. It's going to be hard, especially these next, 3 days of cold coming through. We ain't even going to hit 20 in this cold coming up. And I know y'all sitting up there north going, that ain't nothing. Not having your locks frozen and your doors tired and your tires won't turn. I've been there, done it. That's why I live in the South. So I appreciate y'all coming in on and everything. I'm trying to pay attention to comments, but I haven't seen any come through yet. So if y'all have any comments, or you want to know anything about thrifting, you want to know where to get merchandise, you want to know where to get fixtures or any of that, best way to get fixtures, though, is to look for going out of business sales or watch the scrap yards. That's where I got a lot of stuff at one time. I got shopping carts. I got clothes racks. This one over here I got from a Walmart remodel. I shouldn't be saying their names, but there's a lot of those remodels that go on where they literally clear out the whole store like they did in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They cleared it all out. And I remember they had this thing of, I don't remember, there was Air Force bases under and all that. No, there wasn't. When they did it, it was plumbing issues. They dug out under there. But they threw everything away. And they had a contract with these people, you can't sell this stuff. It has to be crushed, which was ridiculous because now the government gave them a tax write-off for all this stuff that they destroyed. And then they went and bought the exact same stuff, brand new, for the tax write-off. And then they got another tax write-off for that and everything. And we were putting in the same stuff we took out. It was ridiculous because they literally, from one end of that building to the other, threw everything away. Tools, everything. It didn't matter. They threw it away. I wasn't there when the merchandise got taken out, but I was told that even the merchandise got thrown away. Now, that's sickening. I don't know how true that is, but that would be sickening. But there's a lot of these companies out there that do that. You know, you think you're donating all your stuff to these thrift stores and it's going to go to these people in need. Well, I hate to burst your bubble on that, but if this sits on their rack for 7 days at a thrift store, they will take and be like, oh, that's a blue. We pull it. Maybe 2 weeks sometimes, because the first week they'll have it at regular price and the next week they'll have it at half price. But after, I think, up to 3 weeks on most places, it goes into this will go into a closed bindle. But if you have like other stuff like dishes and all that, they will crush it and throw it away. I have asked, hey, can you donate that to us and let us sell it at our place? No, we got to throw it away. So I don't know if you can make bulk deals. I've tried that too. So far, no one has gotten back with me on that because I wanted to get some bulk deals on the stuff that they were going to throw away. And they did it for, one of the places did it for someone else, but that was because it was a buddy system right there and everything. So it's just all in who you know on some of this stuff and everything. And it's sickening because a lot of people think when they're donating their stuff, it's going to help these people. Now, like in this small town where I'm at, they have the homeless shelter thrift store. And it really does help people. The money goes to the thrift store. And the people can go up to the thrift store or the homeless shelter and get vouchers. And then they can go shopping and everything. Like I have the store right across from our new social services and everything. And if people come in and tell me they need stuff, I will help them out. I have no problem with that. Now, there's certain things I can't give to you. There's certain things I have money into that I know I need a profit of. But there's certain things that I don't have money into, like these clothes. I don't have anything into it. So I can give this away all day long if someone needs it and everything. Where I have the issue is people coming and just taking stuff. And they do that all the time. And it's sad because the stuff that gets stolen from me and the little stuff is normally stuff that I give you. And the big stuff that gets stolen from me is normally an employee that I trusted working for me. So back in the day when we had the full video store, though, we had the best people working and everything. But we were making enough money. Everyone was getting paid good. They were doing good and everything else and everything. But then the video revolution died. And so we went to good luck, trying to get through that and everything. So it's been a rough start. So I've been doing it for so many years, but we just keep trying to change with the market out there because you have to change with the market. If you don't change with the market, you're never going to make it and everything. So I did, and I got burnt out 5 years ago because I was going through it. I don't think I ever fully recovered from my divorce as far as financially. Mentally, I'm way past that thing. I just think if I didn't have my 3 beautiful children from that marriage, I just never would have wanted to be in it. You know what I'm saying? So I just take it one day at a time. And, I got my sea moss and everything. That helps with everything because I have some kind of deficiency where I burn off my vitamins and minerals so quick that they just flush through my body and everything. So I always have deficiency and everything anymore. And I don't know what's causing it. I keep trying. You take ashwagandha because my mom had MS and it actually rebuilds the sheaths and everything. But they were supposed to do an MRI, but I keep fighting with my medical, and I never get my medical together to get that MRI to get it verified. So I just keep going. But I take sea moss and everything, and that keeps me going. Only problem is I haven't had the money to get the sea moss because it's been so cold and everything. So, yeah, you see I'm kind of stumbling and walking and everything else. I'm still taking about half a teaspoon just to get through what I have because I need to order it in the next day or so, but it's going to take me like 10 days to get here and everything. So I have to ration that last bit out. But normally I have like a year's worth in my freezer and everything, so I don't have to worry about it. But times are hard, things hit, and I wasn't prepared for everything that happened. And, we never are prepared for all that stuff that happens anyway, so we just keep going. And as you can see, I babble on about anything and everything. So if you have any questions, just holler at me, ask. because I'd love to have a conversation. I'll stop even putting clothes up if anyone wants to message on there and talk and everything. I'd love to. I've got this thing figured out where I can see a little bit better, so I can see if y'all message me. But so far, no one. But if you have a topic you want to talk about, or you want me to just talk about, just say, hey, talk about this or talk about that. I want to hear about this. I want to hear about that and everything. But yeah, we bought this building. Oh man, that was 21 years ago. So 2004, 2003, 2003 we were starting to work on it. I think 2004 we actually closed on the deal, and we got this building for $24,000. But the cool thing about that is we also got it financed. And they wanted a down payment, and I didn't have a down payment. I had $1,000, so that went towards our first 2 payments or something, which was cool and everything. And then if I paid up like 6 months or something at $350 each, once I got like 2,300 down or something, then I get the full billing. Because the other guy, we had that wall up here and everything, and he had red shag carpet throughout there, and he had it all cooled out. He had his air conditioner and all that in there, so it was really nice and everything. But that was the only part that was nice. The rest of this had these nasty ass tacky tiles I had to take up. I tried painting the floor, but unless you use epoxy, which I am not that kind of rich and everything, because we don't make a lot of money doing this. We help out a lot more people. Back in the day when I first started doing it, we made a lot of money and everything, but times have changed. Like I said, the movies have slowed down and all that, and I pretty much got most of the stuff I need, so I don't really worry about it anymore. Well, them are beautiful. I should try them on, huh? Go become a lead singer in a band. Something. Who knows? But yeah, so it's been a rough road at times, but it's been a fun road because it's been a learning experience on all that stuff. I mean, I used to go to the flea markets. When my son was 1.5 years old, we were doing the flea market back then, and I was taking 5 trailers, unloading it, and I would only take 2 trailers back every weekend. The only problem is I had to take all the trailers back, so I'd take 1 trailer out, empty it, take 1 trailer back. Back then, we had friends that we could trust to watch that stuff and everything. And so we'd take the trailers out. I'd take 1 trailer out, empty it, go get 1 more. Take it out, empty it, take it back. And so I only had 2 trailers at the end of the weekend. So then I just fill up those 2 trailers. I have my flatbed and my camper. And I'd fill those up and take them back. And we lived about 45 miles away in Muskogee, Oklahoma, and we were going to Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I grew up around there when I was 16 and everything, going to the flea markets. My grandmother liked it and everything. So we did all that and all that. So I've been around the secondhand retail, thrift, whatever, flea markets and everything my whole life. I love it. I mean, the problem is it's all changed so much. It is so hard to find all the stuff that we want to find at the flea markets and everything. And this younger age, they just want it now. They want to get on the internet. They want to find it. They don't care what it is. And they'll just pay it. Us older people, we looking for that deal. We want the cool stuff, but we still want that deal because we broke, and everything else. We're used to growing up without having that extra and everything. And that was the thrill of the game, though, going out looking for them deals back in the day. Because I remember the big thing that stuck with me is friends had this space in the flea market that was probably this wide to that wide. So about 20 foot wide by, I want to say 60 foot long probably and everything. And they had it full of toys and everything. And all I could think of is I wanted to do that someday. And he's still out there doing it. But we're both a lot older than we were. I think he was probably about 5 years older than me. And everything. I hadn't seen him in forever, and I was at an auction about a year ago, and I saw him, said hi and everything. But yeah, he's slowing down, not doing as much either. And but I used to have all kinds of friends at that market, and it's so changed so much because everything has gone. Back in the day, you could go to the flea market, and there'd be stuff just piled up all over. That's why people like my store. The problem is that there's not so many people that like that anymore, everything. Because most people, even the older crowd, are more into, I want to see it. I want to see it right now. And if I can't see it, I'm not going to dig for it. I'm going to run through, and this is how they shop. They'll come through, they'll look, and if something draws their eye, oh, that's cool, and then that. So you got to draw their attention to it and everything else because they're not getting excited about digging anymore. Because I used to take, like that stuff I have outside, if I took that to the flea market back 20 years ago and I put it outside, there would not be a dang thing left in it. After 2 days at the flea market, at $1 a bag full, there would not be anything left that would be worth a thing. I would just take it all and put it in a dumpster and be done with it because that's how bad it would go over. Nowadays, there's so much stuff that they won't even get because there's so much stuff out there and everything that people are really picky about what they get because they're so broke. We don't have the money to go out and be like, oh, I can buy all this stuff and sit on it. No, we need to make that money back now. So it's getting harder and harder to find stuff because people aren't taking that time to do all that. They need more money. So they're going for the bigger things. They're going for the bigger money. People are like, well, get into the returns. I've done the returns. I did the Amazon truckload. We had 3/4 of a semi load, and I think we paid $5,000 for it. By the time we were done, we profited $2,500, and it took us 3 months. That is not a good profit margin, and there was still a lot of stuff I couldn't deal with. So but you can get into the smalls, and then when you get into the smalls, you got a whole bunch of stuff that's just weird stuff. I mean, if you sell it for 50 cents a dollar, you can make good money. But they're buying it for the bin stores. I'm sure there's some good stuff in there. I haven't really bought one yet. I've thought about it. There's some bins I'm thinking about getting and everything. But until it warms up and I can actually get this stuff caught up, I'm going to be running in circles trying to get like these clothes filled up and get that done and everything else. Like tomorrow, I may be here, I may not. I just have not decided. Oh, it has some. Yeah, I don't know what to think about that. That's one that, yeah. I think we're just going to fill a bag that one. That's just 2 out of there. So, but that's how we do that and everything. I try to keep nicer stuff in here, and then stuff that's stained up and all that's going to go in the trash and everything else. But stuff that just it looks old or just don't look like it's going to be selling very good, I'll throw in there. And it's hard to tell though because I could think, oh man, that don't look very good, and then I could sell it 5 minutes later to someone and be like, that is so cool. But this is snagged up and everything. It's old. It's stained up. So we're going to do the same thing here. Bye-bye to that and everything else. So it just all depends on what you find in here. And me, I'm not a connoisseur on clothes, so my wife will go through and be like, oh, wow, look at that, man. I got a peephole. Yeah, that's definitely not going to go. That's a nice rag for cleaning up stuff and everything else. So it just all depends on what you have, what you do. But yeah, it's a pain in the butt sorting things because you just want to get to the good stuff. You don't want to deal with all the other trash that's out there. But we do. We're slowly going, dealing with it, and keeping it going and everything. But like T-shirts, I have a place I go to in Tulsa. It's a thrift store, and all their T-shirts are $3 each. But on Monday, they're half price. So I love to go up there on Mondays and look at the new T-shirts, grab me a $3 shirt. Because when I find this, it's really cool. Sometimes I don't find anything, but I love it because I found like some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shirts up there. I have found all kinds of stuff, Thundercats, and all kinds of cool stuff. You only find normally about 3-4 shirts at a time, if you do. And most of them are not the half-price shirts, though. Normally it's the $3 shirts and everything. So it is what it is and everything. Because for $3, I don't mind doing that. It's like I bought a shirt, but my washer, it's been going on the fritz, and it has been eating some of my shirts alive lately. So that's not cool. So it's time for me to get a new washer, too. It's just one thing after another in life. You know how that goes. It never ends. So anyone got any comments about anything at all? But don't get down on life and everything. There's always something. You know, everyone thinks that this TikTok live is going to make them rich and everything. It will after a while, but I'm going to tell you right now, it is a lot of work, and you got to have the endurance because it's not going to happen overnight. I mean, it might. Some of you might get it overnight, but I got my first payout from TikTok Live, and it was 12 cents. So I am rising. I am rising right up there and everything. And I joke about that and everything because it is coming. It's just that it's a lot of work because they want you to engage and everything, which I have no problem engaging. I've got so many things I've got to engage with because I try to get with every one of my notices and at least check out your profile and everything, go from there. And I try to follow everyone that follows me as long as it's not a bot and everything. So if you ain't got nothing on your account, I can't follow you because those are considered bots, most of them. And so I'm trying to keep my account straight and everything. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just following what people say, but it seems to be working. So I'm going to go with that and everything. And it's always fun and everything. So, but I think the first, back when I was in Vancouver, Washington, and everything. I used to have a flea market booth in Oregon, which was great because that was my favorite. Because in Oregon, there is no sales tax and everything, but there are taxes on everything else and everything. So your property tax is really high and stuff like that. So we lived in Vancouver, Washington, but we had business in Oregon. So I didn't have to even have a business license because they feel if you're not going to make over $20,000 a year, you're probably not going to stay in business too long, and they don't want to do the paperwork and everything. So I did it for a couple of years because we only stayed out there for a couple of years and everything. And we did really good with it and everything, but I never made over $20,000. I was still working full time for a car dealership and everything, which is kind of cool. I don't know if you know who Richard Brose is, but he's the if you watch on Married with Children, the bouncer and everything on there, that is Richard Brose. He's a friend of mine, and he was on the A-Team. He also played Conan the Barbarian for like 10 years at Universal Studios. He's a real big bodybuilder. You can look him up online and everything. He also has a New York Richie sub shop, which he had and everything. And when I got in there, I was just a runner. Pretty much, I ran for the boss. I went and got parts. I went and did this. Well, if you work for the boss, since they were best friends, you also work for Richie, going and getting stuff and everything, which is really cool and everything. Because I remember when I met Richie, he looked just like the guy on Married with Children, come out and everything. It's probably about that. I don't even know what year that came out. So it probably was around that time maybe and everything, because he'd go back to California and do a few things back then. But he doesn't anymore. He lives out in Alabama now. And he's got a pizza shop out there and everything. It's the best pizza you'll ever taste. It's not cheap, but it is great. It is, but then he's also got the subs and everything else. They just melt in your mouth and everything else. So we did that and everything else. But I remember he had a 1983 convertible Corvette, which was orange and checkered, goofy looking colors, but it was like some special edition, so it was really cool. He had I want to say 69 Maroon Nova. I'm probably not even close with these years. And he had like a 69 Stingray Corvette and everything, and that was really cool. He had a Bronco for when it was icy out and raining and everything else. He didn't want to drive his other cars. But at the time, my favorite car he had was his Roadrunner convertible and everything. That thing was all dragged out and everything, but street legal, because he'd drive it up and everything. That was cool as heck. And so he had that, and he had some other cars and everything. But the only car he still has to this day is the one he bought while I was working there. I remember one day we had some new guys working in the shop and everything, and he pulled in, and he had this brand new Dodge Viper. I want to say it was a 98 Dodge Viper and everything. And the one guy, he goes, "Man, I bet you could really get the chicks with that car." I mean, Richie's a big old Italian bodybuilder. He's like, "Yeah, like I have that problem." I mean, I lost it. It was hilarious and everything. But Richie was always a great guy. He always treated you like you were someone. He didn't act like he was better than you and everything else. But I remember my boss and him, they'd go racing and everything. And I remember I went and got all these parts for the race car. $10,000 in parts. Next weekend, I had to go take them parts back and get them all redone again because they blew up that engine. I mean, it must be nice having that kind of money. But I remember the kids got, I don't know if y'all seen it, but they had the go-karts and everything. There was a Plymouth Prowler they had that came out. So I worked for a Chrysler dealership. And they sent it to the dealership as a bonus or something. Or he bought it for the kids. I don't know how it worked out, but he got it. He had the money to get it, so it didn't matter and everything. And so he got that. And next day, he brought it back in. The kids crashed it into the side of the garage and already busted the whole dang thing out and had to fix it and everything. I mean, I've never had that kind of money where I could just destroy something and not care about it. But, I mean, it must be nice, But he was a great guy, too. He was a great boss to work for. So I always enjoyed it and everything. And I feel like I am hanging. Yeah, I don't even know what I'm looking for here. Looking for some nice clothes, but most of the stuff is not what I'm looking for. Okay, so, yeah. So that's how that goes and everything. So, but yeah, we had a lot of fun out in Vancouver, Washington with the kids and everything. So that was always fun. And so anyone have any questions about business, traveling, any of that fun stuff? Because me and my wife, we went out last year and we went traveling all over. We went from, we left here and we went through Texas to, Roswell, New Mexico, all the way up to the Grand Canyon. Then we went to Las Vegas, and then we went out to L.A., made a few stops out there, checked out the Hollywood sign, and went by Kevin Smith's house and all that other fun stuff, checked out the canyon and all that fun and everything else. So that was an awesome trip and everything. And hopefully we'll get to do that again this year and everything else. Then we went out to Jersey and did a whole bunch of stuff out there and everything else. But when we were out in Missouri, my wife had her accident, busted her pelvis. And so we were stuck at home for 3 months. Then we got back out. Actually, it was 2 months, because then we got back out and everything, and went traveling when she was in the wheelchair, which is not as fun as you would think and everything. She had that bar sticking out of her, holding her together because her pelvis shattered. So she had a bar holding her together and everything. And the surgery was supposed to take like 3 hours. It took 7 hours to put her back together, which she's so lucky that she had a good surgeon that actually wanted to do that and everything, because he could have just been like, nah, we're not going to do that. You're not going to work again. But he actually sat there. It took 7 hours and everything. Got her back together, and he actually sat there trying to figure out how to put her back together and everything. But he did tell her straight up, so there's going to be no more adventure, climbing, and all that stuff and everything else. She's got to be careful, because if she breaks her pelvis now, they said they can't put her back together. She's going to be in that chair for life. So we got to watch the drivers, idiots out there, anything, because if she has one wreck, it's over. And everything else. We did have a wreck after that. She got lucky. It didn't cause any damage, but unfortunately, we still have to go to the doctor and get checked out. We still have another appointment, and it's really hard because we're trying to get stuff paid through the right place, because our insurance is not going to pay it. They paid it, but they want their money back and everything else, because the other place is responsible. But then the other place is like, we already got paid, so we won't send you a bill. Well, when our company takes the money back, I don't know what to tell you then, because if you're not going to cooperate with me, I can't get you paid correctly. So it's been I just hate dealing with corporations, big businesses, all that stuff, because none of them want to work with you. None of them want to help you. They don't care. As long as they get their money, they don't care, and everything else. So you just do the best you can, but I don't want it coming back on me later, and they're saying, well, you owe this because you didn't. No. We did, but we couldn't get it together. So that's always been fun. So we just keep going at that and everything else. So anyone have any questions or anything about anything that I've mentioned or anything? I know that most people have jumped off here and everything. So no one's really interested in me putting up clothes. I'm sure of that and everything, because they're not the greatest. It's not like it's like, woo, look at this. I got this fancy red pants right here. These are awesome, man. I mean, you can see me from a mile away. How about that? Yep. I mean, there's some good pants and everything. So, yeah, we got all kinds of goodies, all kinds of things. We try to keep it close cheap. We try to keep everything cheap. Just keep it moving through and everything. So, that's the kind of things we do around here and everything else. But I want to get more stuff done. I'm just waiting for it to warm up out there so I can start hauling some trailers of goodies in. But I've also got to get out there and clean up the stuff outside so I can haul more stuff in. I've got storages I got to clean out. I got the back room to clean out. So, yeah, I've got to get myself going. I guess I need to get me the Abominable Snowman outfit so I can just get in here, because I don't want to turn on the heat in here and waste all my money. Because, I mean, today I've had no one come in. I mean, but like I said, our town is a size of 1,100 people, I think. And once in a while I get people coming from other towns, but they will not come out when it's cold. They just don't. And everything else. So it is what it is. So we just keep going at it and keep trying and everything. You just never give up. You just keep going. That's all you can do. Just do the best you can. Focus on it and keep going. I've learned a lot of stuff throughout doing this. It's all been trial and error. I've never had anyone to actually mentor me. I've always hoped that someone would show me, but they don't. And unfortunately, I just don't have that personality, I guess, with people or something. I don't know what it is, but I don't hold on to a lot of stuff like that. It is what it is. You just keep doing what you can. So, anyone have any questions about retail, thrifting, any of that stuff? I remember I worked at Walmart for a few years. I was a manager out there and everything till I opened this up. I put in my notice, and I never looked back because I was working in Tulsa, Oklahoma at a place, and I transferred to Okmulgee to be closer to my kids and everything, and be closer with the stuff, for work, so I could just take them and not have to put them in daycare and everything. So I told them before I even transferred, I said, I got to leave an hour before 7 and everything. And they're like, oh, no problem. I get transferred out there. And they're like, oh, no. You're going to have to work full schedule, or you're just going to have to, we're just going to have to let you go because we need you to work the full schedule. And I'm like, okay, but that's not what you agreed to when I transferred out here. All these big corporations, they like to play these little games with you and everything else, and they treat you like you're nothing. So I just told them straight up, fine, send me back to the other store. And they did. They sent me back to the other store. And I found this building, and so I put a down payment on it, and I put my 2 weeks in because if I ever need to go back to that place, I can and everything. So I've just kept my options open. But it's been 21 years, and I haven't looked back yet, and I don't plan on looking back now because I just don't. Well, for one, I don't think I could do it anymore because my body just don't want to do the stuff I'm doing now. So there's that. And then I remember I transferred to Rapid City, South Dakota, too. And at the time, I was a manager for the other store, so I was making good money. But they take away that manager pay when you get your raise and all that and everything else. So they did the adjustments, and they added up thing. He's like, I'm not paying you what a 10-year associate makes. Well, I'm sorry, but before I transferred here, you agreed to that. So you can pay for my rental to move back. You can pay for all this stuff. You can do all that and everything else. It's not going right. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm messing it up. And so he decided that was going to cost him even more and maybe even a lawsuit. So he decided he was just going to pay me. And he did. He finally did pay me. And things worked out and everything else. So it worked out. But I just don't understand why they got to play these games and try to always screw us out of our money when they know they're making all this money. These managers and all that, some of these big businesses, they're making so much money it ain't even funny. But they still want to take advantage of us little guys. So I don't understand that, but it happens. So I went into my own business because, first of all, I didn't trust anyone to watch my kids. And then second of all, the other reason we did it is because I like doing this. And I have, with my autism and my ADHD, I have a lot of hard times dealing with people because with autism, you have two choices. When you have issues with stuff and you're getting overwhelmed, you either explode and freak out all over the place, or you implode and you melt down and you just lose it and you just cry and you just don't know what the heck's going on and you feel like you're losing it. Well, back in the day, I used to implode or explode and everything, and when I was a kid and everything, and that never worked out. That always got my butt busted, got me in trouble and everything else because, like my dad said, back when you were younger, I didn't know how to relate to you. Well, beating the stuff out of me was not the way to do it either, but, it is what it is. It's all a learning lesson, I guess. So I guess that's one of the reasons I learned when I was younger that just depend on me. Don't depend on anyone else because I didn't have anyone to depend on when I was younger and everything else. I was lost. I didn't know what the heck was wrong with me. I didn't know what I was doing. They were labeling me bipolar. They were labeling me depressed and all this stuff. Yeah, I was depressed. I mean, I didn't fit in anywhere. I mean, I had autism but didn't even know it. I was diagnosed when I was 30 years old that I have autism. And that back then it was like Asperger's and high-functioning Asperger's. And now it's just straight out autism, high-functioning autism. So the spectrum goes like, all this. And I feel like, my son, like he's smart as a whip. He has autism also. He's smart as a whip and everything else. So I'm not as smart. I mean, I'm smart, but I'm not as smart. I know things I need to do. The problem is my ADHD takes over that and wears it out. So it's like a constant battle in my head. Where are we going with that, and everything else. So it's hard to stay focused on everything because that ADHD with the autism, it's like a constant battle in your head. So it took me this store to actually get into the point where I could actually talk to people and being out to thrift, where I talk to people. Because even when my buddy had a store in the flea market in Tulsa, he pretty much did his thing. I cleaned discs. I stayed away from people. He made all the money. I sat in the corner and everything, and made sure that all the product was ready to go and all that stuff. And then when I got the store, I had the store too, but I slowly would build out to talk to people and everything else. But then 10 years ago, I went out to the old Paris flea market, maybe 12 years ago. It's been 13, 14 years now. I started going out there and everything, and I had to talk to customers after the kids quit and everything. So that was probably 10 years ago. So I actually had to start talking to people and everything, get used to talking to people. And so going on live here is another one of those, hey, how you doing type things, and getting used to people. So there's a lot of people out there going, man, I'm too scared to do my first live, or you did a good job and everything else. I don't know if I'm doing a good job. I mean, I got 2 people watching and everything else. So yeah, I don't know if I'm doing that great, but I'm trying and everything else. So that's all you can do. Get out there, try, post, and everything else. The problem is you got to do that engagement too. You got to watch the videos all the way through. You got to engage from the bottom up. You need to go back and acknowledge the people that are. If you want to keep your community growing and everything, if you don't acknowledge your likes and everything else, your community is not going to grow either, and everything else. And there's a lot of people out there. They feel like they're alone and everything, and they don't know what to do, and they're scared to open up like that. But it took me 51 years to do it, almost 52, because I'm going to be 52 next month and everything else. So it took me years to get that comfortable, and I'm still not that great comfortable and everything else, because one minute I'll be like, hey, I need to do this, I need to do that and everything else, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm talking and everything, but I'm also on live, and I need to check and see if anyone wants to have anything to say or anything else, or if they're just scanning through and everything else. And I hope some of you, when you scan through, eventually will stop and actually hear what it's all about and everything. But I know how it is, because I go scanning through a lot of people's things, and I'm like, I don't know. And it all depends on what the headline is, the hook or whatever you want to call it, to bring people in. And I don't have a great hook for anyone. I just want to talk and get to know you, you get to know me, and like I said last night, I was like, hey, if y'all got cool stuff you want to show, maybe we can get online and talk, you could tell me about it. We could have a little discussion about it or anything. Or if you want to be a guest and show me, because like yesterday I did a thing about Vincent Pereira, which I put a link in the thing if you want to get the autographed Blu-ray or the autographed pictures or anything. There is a link in the bio now where you can click on that, and they'll take you to where you need to go to find that stuff. I did that for now and everything to see how that works out and everything. But the Blu-ray will be out for a better place sometime in May. I'm not sure exactly when. I can't remember, because my brain is just like so much going on in here and everything else. And I'm trying to stay warm throughout all this cold and everything else. So it is what it is. We just keep going at it every day. And, I love doing the business and everything else. Sometimes I have good stuff to show you, and other times I'm boring. Lately, it's probably going to be pretty boring for the next month or two, and I'm probably going to tell you all the same things I've told you over and over and over. But we don't have the same people coming in and everything for now and everything. And as you all drop in and everything, get to know you, and you get to know me, but maybe we can have more of a thing going back and forth and everything like they do, everything else, but the next few days is going to be real cold, so I don't know how much I'm going to be out. I might try at home and everything, but I don't know. I don't really talk much when I get at home. I'm just like, hi, what y'all doing? And everything else. So I've got to sit down. The problem is I don't have time to sit down and figure out what do we want to talk about today. I'm like, come in here. I'm like, okay, we're going to talk about this. What are we going to do? Oh, I'm going to put this stuff away. Okay, we need to clean that up anyway, because it looks like someone threw up in here anyway, and we got to get all this stuff out of here and everything. So I'd love to get all these racks filled up, so when people come in, they don't just go, it's kind of empty. Well, it is kind of empty, because, we got the whole back room and everything else to fill up. So my wife last night, she's like, man, you are talking so fast, I don't think anyone can understand you. Yeah, when I get nervous, that happens too. I think we all do and everything. So I appreciate y'all coming on in and checking me out and seeing how it goes. But if you watch some of my other videos, you'll get to know me a little bit more, see what we're about, see kind of the cool stuff we're going to do. Are we done and everything else? But right now we are in that winter time of, I wish I was in California or something. Not really with the fires and everything out there, but you know what I mean, in a warmer area. And I'm in Oklahoma and I'm still freezing, so that tells you something. And if I was down in Texas, so that might not be so bad. That'd be pretty cool. And everything else, but we travel all over the place. It kind of reminds me of when we went to Michigan a while back, a couple of years ago. My grandfather had passed away, and my brother was in charge of clearing out the house And so we went out there to clear out the house. We took the trailer out and everything. And the guy that was working out there, he stole all the cool stuff and everything. So when we got out there, all we got was leftovers of all the stuff that they didn't steal and everything, you know. And he's like, "Oh, I have this stuff here for you. It's really cool and everything. This is where the money's at. I set it all here for you." No, he set it there because he was trying to get back in the house to get back. He's supposed to leave the key in the thing. And he took the key off so I couldn't get in there to get the stuff at first. But I called the locksmith, got cut in and everything. So we had to replace the locks and everything. And that was really janky there and everything. But it worked out and everything. And so he's like, "Yeah, I had this stuff set aside for you so you know what was worth the money." No, you had it set aside for you because you wanted to know what you was taking. So I got that. But a lot of the cool stuff disappeared. We had like a $1,000 sewing machine that disappeared and all kinds of furniture. I mean, all the stuff we went out for to get pretty much disappeared. So when we came back, we were hauling books, tools, and I mean, it wasn't even really tools. It was just heavy stuff, that parts for tools and stuff like that, I guess. We had to clean out the garage. It was a big old mess we got left and everything. I got paid to do it, but if I had to do it all over again, it was cool going to Florida and everything, but that last few days there, it got exhausting. We were in an HOA, and I had to park the trailer in the driveway, and I was waiting for them to freak out because my grandfather, he always had problems with the HOA and everything, and the house was like $500,000 house, and neighbors like, "We'll give you $200,000 for it." I'm sure you would. Heck, we want it for our son. How's it feel to want, you know? So because we want to do that, I was like, "Yeah, when we leave, can you put the garbage can up?" "Oh, I ain't going to do that for you." I was like, "Okay." It was all nice and everything if you got $300,000 out of us, but if you ain't getting to screw us over, you don't want to be nice no more, which is fine. So, you know, it worked out and everything. I just put it back and didn't worry about it and everything. So I just made sure it was done the next day, and we got out of there and didn't even care. So it is what it is and everything else. But I appreciate y'all stopping in and everything. I might go live again in a little while. Try to get some of my mess cleaned up here and go from there. And then we'll maybe come back and go live in a few minutes or half hour or so and everything else. But I got to go take care of some stuff. And I enjoyed having a little discussion with you and everything else. Maybe we can do something else because I'm not really doing too good on these clothes. It's more my wife's forte. I suck at clothes. I mean, you show me a cool T-shirt with like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on, I'm in. You got Daredevil, I'm in. You got clothes that are just regular clothes. Yeah, I'm not good at that. So y'all have a great day. Follow if you like the content. I really appreciate it. I do follow back. If your account isn't really going yet, where you don't have the picture on it and you don't have anything going, I'm probably not going to follow you back. But if you got a bunch of videos and you don't have a picture, I'll probably follow you back. But you know, if you got a good account and you're actually trying to get it going, let's engage. Let's get it going. You know, follow me. I'll follow you. All that fun stuff and everything. So y'all have a great day. Stay safe and check back in a little while and see if we're back on. I appreciate it. And we had a great time. And I'm loving it. And I can't wait to get a few months from now where we get to go get the stuff and start bringing out stuff and showing you all the cool stuff we get and everything. So a little bit at a time. Y'all have a great day. Stay safe. Appreciate you stopping by. Follow if you liked it. We appreciate you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.